Hi guys, welcome back, or just welcome if you're new. It is Sunshine Lorena, and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I want to reread in 2022. So guys, it's Vlogmas Bookmas Day 13. We are still going strong with the content. I'm really proud of myself that I'm managing to keep up with this. That means we've passed half of it basically. So yay me. But anyway, I have a stack of books here that I want to reread in 2022. There's books that I always want to reread, but I never get around to doing it. I don't know, I always get like distracted by new books or other books I haven't read yet, and I never make time for ones that I actually want to reread. So this is a list of the ones that I do want to get to in 2022 and reread them for various different reasons, but mostly because I really enjoyed them and I want to have that feeling again. There's some favourites and everything in here, so yeah, I am super excited for this one. So yes, let's just get started. Okay, so the first one I have here is Gone Girl by Julian Flynn. I know there's a sticker, got from a charity shop, and I keep forgetting to try and remove it. But I'll remember, guys. I'll remember before I start reading this one. I read this about, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, guys, it was 5. I read this 5 years ago and I was hooked in this thriller. Like, I was pulled right in there. I enjoyed it so much, and I just want to reread it. I mean, I feel like 5 years has been long enough for a thriller for me to like go back and reread, because I won't remember all of the details. And I just want to go back into it because it was such an enjoyable thriller for me. So in this one we have a couple, Nick and Amy. They've been married for like 5 years or something, and on the day of their 5th wedding anniversary, Amy disappears, and they start doing investigations obviously, and friends reveal that she was scared of Nick, that she kept secrets from him, she was afraid of him, etc. But Nick swears it's not true. There's suspicions on Nick, thinking that he is the one that's caused her disappearance, or there's definitely something suspicious going on, because there's evidence around for that. But Nick swears that it's not true, that anything that they're saying is true, and it wasn't him. And I'm not going to say much more than that, because yeah, you need to read it to find out what happens in this one. But I absolutely love this, the twist in this. Like I said, obviously I remember the twist and how it ends, but the other details, like, I don't remember them all. I'd be interested to see reading it again to see if I pick up on certain things, so that'd be really fun. Then the next one, I will pop a picture here, is The Haitian Game by Sally Thorne. I read this year, and this romance, I absolutely loved it and adored it, and I thought it was amazing. I am not a big romance reader, but this one like definitely got me. It got me, I enjoyed it. Like, it's one of those ones that once I finished reading it, I wanted to immediately reread it. I didn't. I don't physically own it, so I have the audiobook of it, and the Kindle book. I got the audiobook cheap because I already had the Kindle book, and I love them. I absolutely love this book. Like, I can't describe how much I love it, but basically I want to reread it because it gave me joy reading it. Like I said, I'm not a big romance reader, and when I do, they don't tend to be 5 stars, and this one just, yeah, amazing. There is the film, which is out in America, but I'm trying to find out about the date in the UK, and I can't seem to find it, but I really want to watch it. But yes, in this one, there are there's Lucy and Josh. They work at the same company, but they've always hated each other. They always have this different games. They hate each other. However, there is a position that comes up that would be a promotion, and they both go for it. And it's just around them both trying to get this promotion, and the tension between them. It is just, it is so good. It is so good. I absolutely love it, and I need to reread it. Because it just gave me joy, and I'll probably finish it in like a day anyway, so it's not really going to take away from my other reading schedules, The next one on my list is Noughts and Crosses by Ian Rankin. I read this first when I was back in high school. I don't think I've reread this, but I really enjoyed it. This is actually my original copy from high school. Let's not discuss how many years ago that was, but there's like, I don't know if you can see, like, there's like highlighting. I like never highlight or annotate my books now. This is obviously one because it's for school. So there's bits and pieces and like notes, etc. So obviously did an essay and things. And yeah, so this is my original copy. So it's going to be fun to read it and to see the things that I highlighted. And yes, I don't think I have reread it since high school, but I really enjoyed it. I really like Ian Rankin's books. I've gone to a certain point in the series, but it's been many years since I've picked one up, so I think it'd be quite good to like reread the first one. But I really enjoyed it, and I find his books are really quick, fast paced for me, at least out of the ones I've read so far. I'm just going to read the synopsis on the back just because I am hazy on some of the details because it has been so long. And in Edinburgh, of all places, I mean, you never think of that sort of thing happening in Edinburgh, do you? That sort of thing is the brutal abduction and murder of 2 young girls, and now a third is missing, presumably gone to the same sad end. Detective Sergeant John Rebus, smoking and drinking too much, his own young daughter spirited away south by his disenchanted wife, is one of many policemen hunting the killer. And then the messages begin to arrive, knotted string and matchstick crosses, taunting Rebus with pieces of a puzzle only he can solve. And I really enjoyed this, like I said. I'm looking forward to reading it. It's going to bring back some old memories, and I don't know if I'm going to like it as much as I did the first time. It's going to be interesting because it has been so long. But I really loved this when I read it. So it's like a detective crime thriller book. Next one I have here is Eleanor Olymphian is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I read this back in 2019. I went through a couple of years where I hardly read anything. I think it was 2019, and this is one of the books that I picked up in that period of time, and I really enjoyed it. And yes, when I was just looking at my shelves, like, oh, what one is someone to reread, and I saw this, and like, oh, it's been a while. I really enjoyed this one, how it was laid out. And this gonna, I also like this cover, guys. And it's gonna read the back of it, just I don't want to reveal too much. So I'll just read the synopsis for you so you know what it's about. So Eleanor Olymphian leads a simple life. She wears the same clothes to work every day, eats the same meal deal for lunch every day, and buys the same 2 bottles of vodka to drink every weekend. Eleanor Olymphian is happy. Nothing is missing from her carefully timetabled existence, except sometimes everything. So yes, I remember when I picked it up, it was one that everyone seemed to be reading, and I went to like an in-person book club for this one actually. And I didn't really keep up with that. Didn't do well that year with my reading, as I said, but this is one of the ones I read and I really enjoyed it. Yes, it's been a while. I want to pick it up again. I really loved her character and how the story is written out, and also kind of, it's going to be interesting to reread after, like, you know, the pandemic, etc. Because yes, like I remember she's very much like isolated in her life. So it's going to be really interesting to read this like kind of post 2020 when we were all like early 2021 where we were all like locked down, etc. So it's going to be really interesting, I think, to read it from a different perspective. So that'd be really fun. I then have The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I read this in October 2020. It was like a 4-star read for me when I read it, and I really enjoyed it. It's like a horror, dark fantasy elements in there. Yes, I thought it was really great and amazing, and there is a second in the series and it's supposed to be coming out in 2022. I just checked on Amazon and it's saying like August 2022. There's no cover reveal yet or anything, so I'm not too sure. I'm a little bit hazy on the exact dates, but I will reread this just before the next one comes out, just to kind of refresh my memory, because it's basically going to be in like 2 years since I read it. So I really want to, that's why I want to reread it, because I did enjoy it. So in this one we have our main character is Emmanuel, and she's born on the fringes of Bethel. She does her best to obey the church and follow holy protocol, for it was in Bethel that the first prophet pursued and killed 4 powerful witches and so cleansed the land. Then a chance encounter lures her into the dark wood that surrounds Bethel, its forbidden place, haunted by the spirits of the witches who bestow an extraordinary gift on Emmanuel, the diary of her dead mother. Fascinated by and fearful of the secrets the diary reveals, Emmanuel begins to understand why her mother once consorted with witches. And as the truth about the prophets and their history is revealed, so Emmanuel understands what must be done, for the real threat to Bethel is its own darkness. Bethel must change, and the change will begin with her. Yes, that is the best. I think the best way is to read the description on this one, so I didn't reveal too much of it, but yes, that's why I want to reread it. Basically, it's because the second one's coming out, and I'll read that just before, so then I have all the details back, because 2 years is a long time. It's a long time between like books, you might forget certain details, so that's why I want to reread it. Then I have The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Again, I read this like 2018, in that period where I basically hardly ever read, and I really enjoyed it, and I started it when the series just came out, or around about that time, because I wanted to read the book first, obviously, you know, that's the way I am. And I've never read the second one, so The Testaments, I think it's called. I know it's not directly linked to the characters in this one, I don't think, but I think it's set many years later, but I want to revisit this before I pick that one up again. And yes, I can't believe this were in the 80s. There's so many elements of this book that really resonates even today. So I think it's a really good read in that perspective. So there's the Republic of Gilead offered only one function to breed. If she deviates, she will like dissenters be hanged at the wall or sent out to die slowly of radiation sickness. But even a representative state cannot obliterate desire, neither Offred's nor that of the two men on which her future hangs. So that doesn't give the that much detail on the back of the synopsis. But yes, in the Gilead, it was like America, but like they've broken off. I don't know. I've never quite understood if it was the whole America, if there was only a certain part of it. But basically, there's a new government, and slowly, you get the history. Now I've been watching the series, so I can't remember how much you get in this book versus the series, but slowly women's rights basically is taken away from them, and they revert to the society that doesn't use technology. But something's happened where people are struggling to have children, and the handmaids are the solution. So they are placed in families. These are obviously the high up officials in this new realm, and they believe in marriage. Well, yeah, so they're very strict on, you know, marriage. You have to be married. There's certain family units, etc. They have a certain way of life in the society, and they use the handmaids to bear children. And because there is, like I said, there's this problem where people can't really have children, and the handmaids are the ones who, in the previous world, have had children, so they know that they can bear them. So there's like a ceremony that happens. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but that's what Offred is. She is a handmaid, and her job is basically to get pregnant and bear a child for her commander. And that's all I'm going to say. It's a really interesting read, and I really enjoy the series. I need to catch up on it again, but yes, I want to read this, and then I'm going to read the Testaments finally. That is the plan. And then my second last one here I have is Captain Corelli's Mandolin. Again, I think I read this when I was in high school the last time, or maybe I reread it afterwards a little bit, but it's been many years, guys. It's been many years, and I really enjoyed this book. I liked the film. You know, it didn't quite live up to, you know, the expectations sometimes of these adaptations do, but I did enjoy the film. So it is a historical fiction book. It is set in the Second World War, and it takes place on like a Greek island that then gets occupied by the Italian and German armies. It is in 1941, and Captain Antonio Corelli is a young Italian officer, and he's posted to this Greek island to be part of occupying forces. At first he is ostracised by the locals, but as a conscientious but far from a fanatical soldier, whose main aim is to have a peaceful war, he proves in time to be civilized, humorous, and a consummate musician. When the local doctor's letters to her fiancé, a member of the underground, go unanswered, the working of the eternal triangle seems inevitable. But can this fragile love survive as a war of bestial savagery gets closer and the lines are drawn between invader and defender? I really enjoy it. There is those elements of romance in this, but it isn't like historical romance like Bridgerton. You know, it's very different. It's very much a historical fiction one that has romance in it. I did really enjoy it, and it's going to be interesting to read it to see if I still like it as much as I did back then. And my last book on my list of rereads is The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. I really like this book. Like, I really love it, and the film I love as well. It's been quite a few years since I've reread this, and I wanted to kind of reread it. I think I last read it in 2017. Bit of a theme here with the books. But yes, in this one it's set in North Carolina in October 1946, and Noah Cullen has recently returned from the war. He tries to forget the horrors he's seen and experienced by restoring an old plantation home. But though his days are spent working, his nights too often give way to dreams of his past. 14 years ago, Noah fell in love with a girl, and he's still haunted by her memory, but convinced he will never find her again. But when the past slips into the present, Noah realises his ghosts are never far away. And like I said, I absolutely love this one. I'm looking forward to rereading it. It's a short one, so it's quick. And yes, that's it. That is all of my books that I want to reread in 2022. The Alchemist isn't on this, surprisingly, which is my favourite book if you didn't know, but I reread that at the beginning of 2021, so I need to leave it for a little bit before I read again. And that's it. Let me know if you have read any of these, did you enjoy them, or what books you are wanting to reread in 2022. I am posting videos every single day up until Christmas. Comment, like and subscribe if you want to, and I will hopefully see you in the next one, which will be coming up tomorrow. Bye!